Thank you very much, Dr. Harsh, for inviting me for this course. So which tonometer to use? As we know, IOP is the only modifiable risk factor in the management of glaucoma. So there is a need for accurate and reproducible measurement of IOP. There are numerous tonometers available in the market. Therefore, it's difficult to make a choice and find a clear balance between cost effectiveness and reliability of a tonometer. An ideal tonometer is which should give accurate and reasonable IOP measurement, which is easy to use, simple to calibrate, easy to standardize, and which is free from maintenance problems. So most commonly used tonometers in practice are these. So I'm going to discuss them one by one. As we know that Goldman applanation tonometer is the gold standard in measuring IOP, and it's a slit lamp mounted tonometer and records IOP in sitting position, therefore limiting its use in general anesthesia patients. It has a learning curve and requires a trained person to perform the procedure. Its use in screening a large population is limited because of the obvious reason that it is slit lamp mounted, and IOP reading is affected by central corneal thickness. So it should always be associated with central corneal thickness measurement and refractive power of the patient. As far as cost is concerned, it is 45,000 to 75,000 rupees, so expensive. However, maintenance is easy, and one should regularly check the tips of the prism for damage and cracks and change it when necessary, especially when we are frequently dipping it into sodium hypochlorite solution for disinfection during COVID times. So disinfection in between patients is done by 70% isopropyl alcohol wipes at the tip of the prism for 10 seconds. However, it doesn't remove the adenovirus. It does disinfect against the COVID virus. So it's the high level disinfection is achieved by soaking the prisms for 5 to 10 minutes in 1:10 dilution of sodium hypochlorite or 3% sodium peroxide. Calibration should be done monthly, and if any error is detected, it should be sent to company for repair. Perkins tonometer is applanation tonometer, which is portable. Therefore, it is useful in children and anesthetized patients, and it has a built-in LED illumination that produces enhanced image of tonometer Myers. But I would say that it has a learning curve because whenever you're measuring the IOP, your hand may not be stable, and the illumination area is also small as compared to the slit lamp mounted applanation tonometer. And the cost is approximately 1 lakh. Now coming to Shor's tonometer, we know it's an indentation and high displaceable type of tonometer. It is inexpensive, simple to use, and durable, and requires very little maintenance. And it is still used in our community screening programs. And however, we should know the limitation that the reading can be influenced by scleral rigidity. So differential tonometry should be performed to get rid of the problem of ocular rigidity. So studies have recommended it as a reliable screening tool in community outreach services, but abnormal IOP must be further subjected to GAT. And we should know that studies suggest that underestimates the pressure in higher range and overestimates the pressure in lower ranges. Cost, as I said, is very, very reasonable, and calibration is easy and can be done at the beginning of the day. Amongst general ophthalmologists, non-contact tonometer is the most commonly used tonometer, and it uses jet of air to applanate anterior corneal surface. It's a non-invasive method, does not require topical anesthesia, and a minimum of 3 readings average to estimate the mean IOP. So biggest advantage is that it can be used by a technician. I'm going to discuss about the aerosol generation with this particular procedure, and it can be available as table mounted or handheld portable. So it is reliable within normal range, and that is why it is useful for screening purposes. However, it may underestimate IOP at higher ranges and overestimate IOP at lower ranges as compared to GAT. And the mean difference between the two methods is approximately 2.72. Corneal thickness has greater influence on NCT than on GAT. and it is influenced even more in glaucomatous eyes with corneal thickness. The cost is approximately 3.8. Now the recent one is rebound tonometer. It's a contact tonometer with a very lightweight probe, and it just makes a very momentary contact with the cornea. Therefore, anesthesia is not required, and it takes 6 readings, and highest and lowest readings are discarded on its own, giving a digital display of the average IOP. However, disposable probes have to be used for every patient to minimize the risk of minimize the risk of infection. So it is necessary to change the disposable probe for every patient, especially during COVID times. So these are the different models which are available, and it can be performed in supine position for children with iCare Pro tonometer, and the home tonometry can also be performed with this particular model. So rebound tonometer gives readings slightly higher than Goldmann applanation, plus minus 3. And again, it is influenced by central corneal thickness. And this is the cost of the tonometer. TonoPen, we used to use it very often earlier before we had rebound tonometry. And now the latest version is TonoPen Avia, which is four times, it has extra battery, does not require daily calibration, and larger LCD display. And it is portable again, can be used for children, and it can also be used on scarred cornea and through bandage contact lens. However, again, it has this OcuFilm tip cover, which has to be changed with every patient. So again, it is expensive, and you can calibrate it in the beginning of the day. And again, it tends to overestimate the low IOP and underestimate the high IOP. And the difference between the two is approximately 3 millimeter. And some studies suggest that there is not much difference. Again, TonoPen overestimates GAT values in thicker corneas. So it is affected by corneal thickness. And so the cost is 2 to 2.5 lakhs, but additional cost of OcuFilms. So when you compare all these tonometers, GAT is the gold standard, we know. And however, the maintenance cost would be high for the TonoPen and iCare tonometer because of these disposable probes and OcuFilm. And except GAT, which is slit lamp mounted, most of these tonometers can be used for screening purposes, although they are not very cost effective in case of TonoPen and iCare. And risk of infection, we are just going to discuss, and how to disinfect them. So currently there's published evidence of COVID-19 transmission through tonometry. However, studies have suggested that theoretically there can be a risk because of this ACE2 expression in cornea and conjunctiva. Therefore, we need to urge on the side of caution while measuring the intraocular pressure. This was in this study, this review was done in 2020, and that time they advised against the use of air puff tonometry and pneumotonometry, and rest all could be used with proper disinfection. However, recent thoughts about NCT is that it is highly unlikely that microaerosolization that occurs during NCT would cause transmission of infection to a healthy person. Possible amount of aerosolization is negligible, especially when no topical drops are used, because the tear film volume is very small. And if at all you have to use NCT, it should be placed in a relatively well-ventilated room with sufficient circulation of ambient air and air exchange, and increasing the interval between the two tests, and with, of course, with limited staff who are wearing masks. So it will further reduce the generation and accumulation of aerosol particles. The last slide, that it depends what kind of practice you have, whether you have a community setup or a glaucoma clinic. So I would advise that for glaucoma clinic, you need to have a tonometer which is highly accurate, and you need to find a balance between cost effectiveness and accuracy. Thank you very much.